At this time, most of you already know that I'm pregnant, right? If you don't, it probably means that you're first time here. My name is Sopho and I'm 22 weeks pregnant with our first child. So I am 6 months pregnant and I really want it long already now that I start some kind of series with regards to pregnancy, but there are tons of videos out there, people doing what they get, what their symptoms are, how they prepare their room. All those things are very nice and obviously part of our journey as well. We have not done any of the room preparation things so far, but they're probably gonna come. Saying that, I really wanted it to be a little bit different, and it took me almost 6 months right now to find a format in which I thought I would be able to unwrap myself this journey. And what a better time than a new year, like finish of the year, to start with this. So I wanted to call this video more like a past, present and future, and throughout this series take you along with me. I don't know, different stages of this pregnancy, obviously cover the standard things like the trimester related symptoms. I would love to even film a little bit about the baby shower which we're gonna have, but I doubt that anyone who is going to be coming here wants to be on the camera, so let's see about that. But most importantly, I wanted it to be a little bit more conversation, sort of with myself, but also maybe to other people who might be also a bit overwhelmed with this, I don't know, journey, which is definitely a new chapter from being a single grown-up person to a mom, which is a scary journey and exciting at the same time. Obviously, there are people around you who you can talk to about these things, but not always really. I obviously do talk with my friends and my husband, but everyone else has life, and sometimes they think that you over-exaggerate, you overthink things. I think that's why people have mostly psychologists and do a therapy session, right? I don't have that, but that's my kind of therapy, to talk things through. And I don't even know, maybe in the future, like, our daughter gonna be sitting and watching these things, cringing, thinking like, ah, how awkward, why did she do that? Maybe she'll be happy that there is also sort of a memory documentary about like how the things went for us, how we prepared, what fears we had, how we felt throughout it, or how I felt throughout it. At the very end, it's something that I will be happy about to look back when the time comes and see how all this was when the memories start to fade out, let's say so. First things first, what a year it has been. It was full with ups and downs, obviously, as probably for most of the people out there, but with this news in the middle of the year, a lot of things changed and I really cannot complain. I think the positive side of the outlook into the future has definitely counterbalanced any negative things that has been at the beginning of the year. Just a small recap about the beginning. It was a conscious decision that we wanted to get a kid, or from both of us in the family. So we made this decision sometime at the end of the last year, and we thought that, okay, let's give it a try. I was always the one who was always getting the checks and having a green light from my doctor. He was always saying like everything is just perfectly fine, and having heard the stories from my family that everyone was getting pregnant super easily, like straight away on the very first months they tried it, I thought that would be exactly the same case for us. To be frank, it took us quite a while, approximately 7 to 8 months long, and I know that this is not a whole lot, especially if there is someone watching this video who is trying longer, and there are people who really actively try for a few years. It was not something that absolutely saddened me that it did not work out, and I was trying not to be obsessed about it. Parallel to trying to get pregnant, I also tried to find a new job that obviously shows that it was not something like unilateral path for my future, that I determined for myself that this is what I want only and that's what has to happen to make me happy. But at the same time, after a few months of trial and at the end of the months, my period coming, I got a little self-conscious and self-doubting, especially there were other things happening around us in the period that was not really perfectly working. I think I have not really explicitly said it ever. But at the end of 2021, I did not manage to pass the practical part of the driving test for the second time, which really brought me to like ground emotionally. That was first time that I did not manage to do something, and not even on the first try, but on the second try as well. I never doubted my abilities to learn from the book, but I really started to self-doubt myself, especially in the real life situations and environment. I know this is not a huge deal and a lot of people go through it, don't want to make a huge fuss about it, but it definitely has impacted me morally but also physically very, very badly. I remember the beginning of the year I was literally sick and had to visit doctors because it, yeah, just had a huge impact on me. Parallel to that, things were not as well very perfect at work. Don't want to go into depth in here. Work life is a very particular thing and can be very tricky to talk about it publicly, especially that I'm still working there. But to be frank, I never really felt very happy in my work, and people who have followed this channel across have definitely gotten a glimpse of that when I've mentioned one or two sentences here and there. But after the last switch of the counterparts with whom I was working along, it became a little bit more difficult for me. I realized this because I am a very sensitive person, and usually when I start to feel down, I tend to close up and change my routines, which I usually know that work very well and in my favor. For example, I was always doing sports very regular throughout the 2021, but across 2022 I got very sporadic because of the situation at work. Just to be frank, I felt most of the time very bad and overwhelmed and very negative. I cried many times about the existing situation, the relationships, the misunderstanding. I would say not only misunderstanding, but even beyond that, a little bit bullying atmosphere, very toxic. That triggered me also to actively start searching for new job opportunities, and yeah, to cut it short, even there I was not having a lot of success. I did not really know exactly what was the reason, but the interviews that I was taking were not really bringing the positive outcome. As I was doing it at home as well, I was asking obviously people around me and who were attending it in the same room, and there was no any major issue that could have been the reason why it was not working. Saying that, this is just the one part of my personal life that obviously a lot of people don't really get a feeling of, and I don't know, having this negative touch and negative experience on that field sort of transferred the self-doubt to my ability to also conceive. I don't know if it was also stressing me out, if there were other reasons as well in play why I did not manage to get pregnant throughout the first 8 months. But after a few attempted fails, obviously I started to be very self-conscious of the situation. And as every kid, when something doesn't work out, you want it to work. So we did the tests as the doctor recommended, and eventually it worked out when I actually stopped trying and paying attention. I was not obsessed, but I really wanted to be on the top of the game. I tried to track my temperature to see if it was really going up after the expected ovulation date. Also, I used the ovulation stripes to really not miss the window. Everything seemed fine, but the period or the months when I tracked all those down, it really did not work out. So effectively, after half year of trying and both of us doing tests, the doctor recommended to go to the reproduction clinic and to see our prospects there. Even though we were not whole long in the trial, we decided to take that opportunity and made an appointment for the later period in autumn. And funny thing is that when we did that, I sort of stopped with all the attempts of tracking all this process. The very first months in August when I did that, it actually worked. I think I talked about the pre-period symptoms in the very first months before you even know that you're pregnant in one of the vlogs that I sort of included in a daily vlog. I'm gonna link it here so you can watch after the 15th minute if you are interested about the symptoms. I sort of missed it absolutely, or maybe I just missed those symptoms completely. I realized at the very end of the month that my period was not there, but I wasn't even certain if it was supposed to arrive. Only reason why I decided to check on the pregnancy was a weird dream that I had the night on the 21st of August at night. So I woke up and I decided to use the last pregnancy strip test that I had, and surprisingly it came out positive. Falco was still sleeping. It was the morning of our wedding anniversary. There couldn't have been a better gift than that to give him that very same day. When I think back, I would not even say that I was excited. I was again doubtful. I just did not have any other tests to recheck it, but the line was so vivid. It would have been very difficult to be anything else than like confirmed pregnancy. I remember that I have not even cried. Like most of the people cry when they are happy, when they are expecting something for this long. I have not even shed a single tear or like did not even feel anyhow especially excited. I was more like with question marks if it really could have been the case. So I brought the test up and woke up Falco with the news. Typical of him, he was more convinced that this might have been really the case, and his confidence in the fact also gave sort of a peace of mind to my doubts. It made the day extra special for us. We had a very nice dinner planned at a very good sushi restaurant, which we did not cancel, even though eating raw is not really recommended for pregnant women. But it was so early that we decided we'd go with it. Everything before that and after that became like two chapters of our life, sort of. Ever since, we always try to be a bit more conscious about the things we do, the things we eat, how it can influence the baby, how it can influence the pregnancy. I won't go into particular symptoms throughout this 6 months because I think that I'm gonna do a special like dedicated episodes with regards to that. But all in all, I feel like that I have been very chilled, that I did not expect of myself. I am a warrior and have a really good awareness of my anxiety that revolves around a lot of topics in my life. So I thought that it would be one hell of a ride for my partner as well. That being said, I am taking it a lot more positive than I ever thought I would. Every time someone asks how the pregnancy is going so far, I am always seeing the things with pink glance, saying that it is good so far, that I don't have a lot of complaints. But I'm saying this vis-a-vis the experiences that have been shared throughout my life, from my friends, from my relatives, and their pregnancies have been very, very complicated. So I'm sort of grateful with the small problems, let's say so, that have emerged for me, meaning like some leg cramps that I have and acid reflux, stuff like that. So I don't want to sort of overdose with the complaints, but every time I say that, I notice how Falco's eyebrow sort of lifts up, because this journey might look a little bit different from a side. Now a few words about current state and the future. First of all, it's end of the year, it's a holiday period, so I started to slowly really calm down, accept the realization that pregnancy is going fine, that she is growing, that in about 4 months period she's gonna be in this world, that my work ends. So it's like a mix of emotions. There's so much to prepare for her coming, so my mind is like full of those thoughts. I try to improve my knowledge through consuming a lot of information through the books and videos that are out there, shared experiences that I'm very, very grateful for. But at the same time, obviously there are a few things that I don't know how to say that, but like that still keep my mind like worried. I think I'm gonna go into depth about this in another video where I'm going to talk about the fears, but obviously I don't have unlimited contract, so my work ends. I won't have like a solid income source after that. I don't know how I'm gonna feel when she's there. I don't know how the first month is gonna be, how it's gonna impact our marriage, how our relationship, our routine and comfort, because that definitely will be an exciting but very, very challenging time, and I'm trying to morally prepare myself for that as much as I can. Few things and aspirations that I want to sort of voice in this video for the future. I don't know if I managed to do that, and I don't want to put a huge pressure on myself with regards to it either, but I hope I find the strength in myself now that the year is ending and I'm feeling more calm and like more self-aware and more self-focused than ever in this pregnancy. I hope that I will continue that for the last few months of my work. These months have passed so quickly, like it was like a blink of an eye. It is natural that you spend like first 3 months worrying if this pregnancy at all progresses, and then afterwards you don't really feel any type of kicks, or you're like too busy throughout your day to focus and think on yourself. And it is partly normal that for other people life goes on, you're pregnant, but they have things to sort of accomplish, to achieve before you leave the work. So the pressure, sort of external pressure, grows. It is up to you to find that strength in yourself, to tell people no, to put yourself in the first place and your kid in the first place, because this is what is the most important thing for the upcoming year. And I say this, but I know that it's easier said than done in real life when you're faced with that, especially with the character that I have. This is the biggest goal for me for the left month, is to prioritize myself and our kid. It's also funny that once the holidays started now, I really truly realized the kicks and her presence in my tummy, because before that I was absolutely overwhelmed with my work and I was putting this pressure partly on myself as well from the surrounding, and did not really have like the moment to breathe in and out. It's just way too precious period, and you're not pregnant all the time, so I think it's something to cherish. And as for the last few words for this video, because I think that I'm diverging too much from the main topic and talking about everything that is going through my mind, we are very, very excited and looking forward to what the life is going to be with her, with us. The only thing I hope for her is to be a very kind person and to be able to grow her into a kind person. Everything else, I think and I believe, will get sorted out on its own. Thank you very much for taking your time and watching this video. Please let me know in the comment section below what type of videos, pregnancy related videos, you would want to see, or if you have any questions, I could collect them throughout these videos and maybe once at the end do Q&A as well, if there's anything interesting. I wish you a very blissful new year and that all your plans and wishes come true for 2023. For us, it's definitely going to be epic. That thing I am very convinced about.